Hello everyone, welcome back to Into Sports. I'm your host Evan, and today I want to talk about the Washington football team benching Dwayne Haskins in favor of Kyle Allen. I don't agree with this benching at all. Dwayne Haskins, let's think about this young quarterback. He had 3 head coaches in 13 games. He had only one viable receiver in Terry McLaurin, 2 different offensive systems, offensive coordinators, and a dysfunctional organization and environment. We saw that during articles and news reports during this offseason. Washington, let's be honest, they're a dysfunctional franchise this moment. That's a lot to overcome for a quarterback that everyone said during draft season needs 1 or 2 years to mature, to prepare, to sit under a veteran and learn and develop. And that's thrown at him in the first 13 games. And then you bench him after his best game of the season versus the Ravens defense, which is phenomenal. He was a top 10 graded quarterback in week 4 by PFF versus that Ravens team. That's pretty impressive. So you get rid of him after his best game of the season. I don't get the urgency to bench him. You're 4 weeks in, limited offseason program, no preseason, a new head coach. What did you possibly expect from Dwayne Haskins? That's basically what I expected, but now he's on the bench. Now here's Dwayne Haskins' problem, and this is a problem that a lot of young quarterbacks face today. You have to be transcendent, and you have to be transcendent immediately. And right now, Dwayne Haskins is competent. He can win you some games. Good defense, he'll win you a few games. But you have to be transcendent, because you know who his potential replacements are? Trevor Lawrence, Trey Lance, Justin Fields in the draft. Those guys are all transcendent. Because if you go as a high pick to an organization, and if you don't make them really good really quick, then they're going to keep picking at the top. They're going to keep having the chance to draft an elite quarterback, and 1 or 2 years in, if they don't see enough, they're going to take that chance and draft another young quarterback out of the draft. Daniel Jones, Sam Darnold, Dwayne Haskins, those guys were all on terrible teams. They're all facing that problem right now. You know, I consider Daniel Jones a successful draft pick for the Giants. And 1 year in, there's already talk about drafting Trevor Lawrence. You have to be really good, really quick to keep your job as a young quarterback. Now here's a second problem that young quarterbacks face. There's more starting quarterbacks than there are available teams. What do I mean by that? Jameis Winston, Andy Dalton, they're plenty good enough to start. They're plenty good enough. But they're sitting on the bench right now. They're backups. So whether you're a young quarterback, a veteran quarterback, a free agent quarterback, we saw Cam Newton face this problem. We weren't even sure if there was a team that would want him, even though he's a very good quarterback. And because there's so many great available options, I mean, not only is there like 35 good guys right now, but now there's going to be 4, maybe 5 in this upcoming draft. So they're going to be up to 37 after a guy or 2 maybe retires. 37 potential starting quarterbacks. You don't get, now as a young quarterback, you don't get enough leniency, enough time to develop into what you could be, because there's plenty of options available, plenty of replacements. And it looks like Dwayne Haskins is going to be that next starter, potential starter, guy with starter ability that becomes a backup. Now here's the third problem for young quarterbacks. They go to a bad team in the draft, so that bad team probably has a coach that's on the hot seat. And if that coach gets fired after 1 year, or in the middle of the first year, like Jay Gruden for Washington, and the new coach that comes in isn't attached to the young quarterback. He didn't draft him. That's not his guy. You know why Mitch Trubisky started 3.5 years for Chicago? Ryan Pace, the GM, was there all 4 years, and he drafted him. So he still sees that ability. He remembers why he drafted Trubisky. He still sees that. He still wants to get that out of him. He still believes he can. That's why Trubisky started all that time and wasn't replaced. If there was a new GM, new coach, probably would have been replaced. Ron Rivera didn't draft Dwayne Haskins. Dwayne Haskins is not Rivera's guy. So you know what Rivera did? He got his guy, Kyle Allen, coached him in Carolina, brought him to Washington, and he brought him to Carolina and Washington because he thought he was talented. And once again, now in Washington, he has a rapport with him. He has experience coaching him. He still thinks he's a very talented quarterback. Ron Rivera said today that Kyle Allen is a starter because he knows the system. The NFL can be a league of familiarity sometimes, and this is another example of that. So now let's talk about the new starter for Washington, Kyle Allen. Now in the offseason, I'm watching back these quarterbacks, watching games back, and I give Haskins and Allen actually the same grade. Because you're going to see a few great plays from Kyle Allen each week, but then the next throw is going to be like 12 feet over the receiver's head, and it's going to be picked off. Get a lot of good, a lot of bad from Kyle Allen. It's a true roller coaster ride. He's going to lose you games single-handedly, but he also might win you a few. Haskins is more steady, and he has more long-term upside. That's why he was a first-round draft pick. And not only did Washington bench Dwayne Haskins, but they put him third on the depth chart among quarterbacks. So in a few weeks, when Washington sees Kyle Allen probably isn't the answer, they might go to Alex Smith based on the depth chart before they go back to Dwayne Haskins. That tells me Haskins' time in Washington is done, and they'll take a quarterback top 5 in the draft this upcoming year. I don't like this decision to bench Haskins this early in the season.